Hello and welcome to another episode of Storware Academy. My name is Paweł Piskorz and I am Presales Engineer at Storware. Today we will learn how Storware can work by a Skyline plugin with OpenStack environment and how to connect everything together. Shall we begin? Okay, let's start briefly what prerequisition or preparation must be made on Storware Backup and Recovery before we will jump into OpenStack by itself. So let me quickly log into Storware Backup and Recovery, starting from, as you can see, there's a bunch of VMs, but before that bunch of VM will appear here in the Storware Backup and Recovery UI, we must integrate our OpenStack with Storware Backup and Recovery. As you can see, my entry is already here. If you would like to add it by yourself, please check our other webinars or other recordings. Everything is well described over there. Also, the mandatory part is the backup repository. As you can see, I have three separate entries of two file systems. One is a file system synthetic, the second is non-synthetic, as well as there is a connector to Vault. Okay, so this is our baseline. Right now, let's quickly jump into OpenStack. So as you can see, this is my OpenStack. I have one region available over there. Let me quickly log into. Let's start with the first user. This is the RTA user. Okay, over there, this user has access to some VMs. If you look closely, if I collapse every tab which is available here, there is an extra tab. This is our plugin to OpenStack Skyline. So if I open that one, this is a very similar look what you can achieve and what you can find in the Storware Backup and Recovery. But what is more important, that view is available directly from OpenStack Console. So owner, user of this project can easily browse and see the basic information about his own field, his own VM, and that will be the most important part for every user over there. Can, without asking for any permission for backup administrator or OpenStack administrator, can protect his own environment by doing stuff like backup, like restore, like mode, directly from this view, directly from OpenStack Console by a Skyline plugin. Let's try to do some protection. So let me use this VM as an example. Backup. Let's invoke that one. Over there, I can choose what type of backup I would like to perform. I can start the new chain of backup by creating a full backup, or if I have already created full, I can continue the backup chain by making the incremental, or in case of synthetic backup repository, instead of incremental, that is going to be invoked synthetic full. In my scenario, for my demonstration, I would like to run a full backup. Save. As you can see, success backup task has been submitted. So right now I can open workflow execution console where I can see the live progress of each task which is running currently under the backup job. Let me quickly refresh the status. The backup is in progress. That is fine because right now we invoke backup on demand. And in the production, the most important part is to run that backup periodically with the backup SLA. So yes, our plugin allows backup administrator or owner of the project create his own backup SLA. Let's wrap the single one as an example. So backup SLA tab, over there is a create button and what we can achieve and what we can set over there. Of course, name of the backup policy, we can decide if you would like to use a schedule enable or disable, if we want to use the auto remove if VM is not longer present in the hypervisor. That is a kind of cool feature because we will scan if the VM is still present. If not, that VM will be removed automatically from that backup policy. But the important part, we are not removing copies which are already stored in the backup repository. Going further, there is a counter in case of failure, so we can increase easily number of tries for each backup which will be performed by our solution. How to assign VMs? Job is simple. Just select which VMs should be assigned to that backup policy. And now the most important part, rule. Over there, owner of that project can decide where he would like to store the data, can decide about the retention. So in case of file system synthetic, number of days to keep or number of version to keep, and basically from that point of view can assign the schedule, and according to that schedule, backup are going to be made. So in my scenario, I have already prepared daily incremental and weekly full schedule. Okay, so this is how you can create your own backup SLA. Okay, let's check if our backup is made properly. So workflow execution console, yes. So that means we can invoke restore on demand as well. Let's try to do that together. So again, OpenStack, again plugin. Over there is a virtual environment where we can find our VMs. Let's use that copy what we just made together. So action tab, restore, and basically right now we have to fill gaps. So first of all, we must select the proper copy. So I believe the last one what we made will be fine. Over there we can decide about the availabilities, also on which cluster that data should go. Here we can choose the original volumes for that VM, or we can modify and select a different storage. Here is a place to choose a proper network interface, and important part, if your instance has more than one, that will be appear over there, so you can choose both or more than 2 networks. In my scenario there is one. Over there I can select the proper flavor for the VM, and I can delete if a VM already exists. Simple flag, just select, and VM will be replaced with the new one taken directly according to the backup which we made properly. And the last part, rename our VM. So let me use this example. So demo pp, let's add the freeze at the end, and I hope that will be good enough. Yes, restore task has been submitted. So again, a user can easily jump into workflow execution console to see a live progress of that restore job, and currently our task is in the queue state. Before we check if the restore works properly, let's make a quick look on the Storware by itself, because also that job what we invoke by a plugin for the Skyline is available over here in that workflow execution console. And yes, as you can see, that job is almost finished. So that means we should together check and view here in the compute instances. And yes, our VM is available there live for the few seconds, so that means that works perfectly fine. And this is how that works. Now you know how to connect that and what you can achieve with Storware, and of course with OpenStack Skyline. That's all. So stay tuned for another episode of Storware Academy, and of course do not hesitate to contact us directly and follow us on our social media. Thank you.